Good morning and welcome to Free Advice Friday. My name is Keri Barnum for New Shelves Books, and we are here to talk about publishing, marketing, and the business of being an author. If you're joining us live, welcome. If you are not joining us live and you're watching the replay on YouTube, just know that we do meet every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. You can join us anytime simply by going to newshelves.com/FAF. Now, today we have a couple of questions live, which we're going to tackle. And then I did have a couple of emailed questions in as well. The first question is from Richard about Facebook ads. And he has recently watched Matthew J. Holmes' free masterclass on Amazon and Facebook ads. So it's a great free resource for you. And Richard's question is about doing unrestricted targeting on Facebook compared to targeting on Facebook. I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but when Facebook ads first became popular years ago, it's been a long time, but when they first became popular, you had to really target your audience in order to hit them. So you had to be able to target your audience in order to find the right people on Facebook. Now, of course, Facebook has updated a number of times since then, but targeting has still pretty much been a common theme until about the last year or two. Now there are several schools of thought where people now think that it's smarter to just go unrestricted on Facebook, where you are allowing them to target anyone they want to using their AI and their data. There are some people and some authors who have had a lot of success with this, where they were limiting themselves by targeting specific genders or specific ages or interest. And now that they're not, that they're unrestricted, they're actually reaching more people, or they're finding people that maybe are interested in their book or in their genre, but didn't subscribe to the things that they were targeting previously. So there's some truth to both of these options. And let me just break it down a little bit as far as my opinion. Now, we know how opinions work. Everyone has one. Mine is right. Just kidding. But so everyone's got an opinion, and some things are true. They're all true, is that what works for one person may not work for another person. And there are different reasons and caveats depending on the specific situation. But for Facebook ads, one of the reasons why you might do a targeted ad versus a unrestricted ad is if Facebook doesn't know enough about your book, your audience at first. Let's say you're new on Facebook or you haven't run a lot of ads. This is your first book, something like that. Facebook may not have enough information on you and your audience to target properly. So what they're going to do is they're going to throw out this wide net, and they're just going to market your book to everybody. They're going to market to everybody to start to gather data. Now, the problem there can be is that it can spend a lot of money. It can get very expensive very quickly. If you have the money to where you're saying, I can do $20, $50 a day in ads just to let the Facebook algorithm and the AI gather that data to refine my ads, fantastic. For those of you who maybe are on a tighter budget, a shortcut to train the AI, to train the data, to train Facebook is to target your ads to where you are going to actually target specific things. So for example, if you write cozy mysteries, you might target women between the ages of 30 and 65 plus. You might target people who follow Kindle or Goodreads. They read cozy mysteries. You might target Agatha Christie or something like that. So that is what you're doing, is you're targeting things that they might also be interested in, so that rather than putting out this wide net on Facebook, which can cost quite a bit of money, you are going to kind of lead, you're going to lead the data, you're going to lead Facebook to this audience and run some ads. Now, there are two options from there. You can run some ads, see how they work. And as it works, as the Facebook algorithm start to learn who your audience is, then you can start a new ad with unrestricted targeting, to where now you're just saying, all right, Facebook, you know enough about my audience, you know who's buying my books. Now I'm going to back up and let you do your thing. And it will still cost typically more money to do this. However, it is kind of like giving it a head start. You've trained it a little bit, and then you can allow the Facebook algorithms to do the rest. And the beautiful thing about that is the beautiful thing about the Facebook algorithms is they're getting all of this data and they're processing it. Now, they're not processing it with reason and human um, instinct, but they're processing data and it does a really good job. So that may be one option where you start with targeted and you go unrestricted. I will say for some people, when you go unrestricted, you reach a lot more people, but your conversion may be lower. I've seen both happen. I've seen people have really great success with unrestricted targeting where it just kind of goes crazy. And they get a lot of clicks, but they are not reaching their target demographic at all. And then I've had people have a lot of success where they've already kind of established their platform, they've established their readership and who would be interested in their books, and it does well from there. So I think that's just one of the things to kind of think about is that number one, what's your budget? How can you best use your budget? Are you interested in quick results and you have the money to spend on it? Do you need to keep a lower budget and train things up first? Have you already established? Do you already have other books and ads you've been running for and you've established and trained the Facebook algorithm to who your reader is and now you want to give them a shot? There are, of course, things that go into it. And that's why I said sometimes everyone's opinion of how to run these ads is correct, is that they have all worked for different people different ways. So those are just a couple of the factors that you want to think about for your book specifically to decide, how does it work for you? And what do you need to do? Do you have more time and less budget? So you need to kind of set that up and run it smaller for a little bit and gather the data yourself before you let Facebook have free reign? Or do you have no time and more budget and you're just going to throw some stuff at it, some money at it to see how it works? And I come across authors on both sides of that target there. So just figure out what works good for you and give it a try. That's not as marketing is very much driven by data. It is scientific. There is a skill and let's call them rules to it. But honestly, a lot of marketing is I have this crazy idea. Let's try it. I have a client, bless them. I have a client that I literally like December 1st was like, I have this really crazy idea, but I'd love to just give away stuff for 12 days for the 12 days of Christmas. And they were like, okay, cool, let's try it. And it works so well. We've gotten so much engagement and response. Numbers are up, sales were up. I mean, there's just a lot of activity, but it was one of those things where I'm like, I have nothing to say this will work. I just think it's a really cool idea. It's innovative, and I think it could work. And so we gave it a try. So a lot of marketing, yes, there is skill, there's process, there are rules to it, but a lot of it is just trying and seeing what will work for you. A lot of it is just trying things out, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So it's definitely interesting. Yeah, and Richard, on the call, you're asking if we've trained that algorithm on Facebook. I would say yes. You and I have been running ads for, different books for well over 6 months. So I would say yes, you probably have a pretty strong foundation of trained algorithm to where you could go wide with some of those ads and unrestricted and see how they work. All right. I have a question about pen names. I'm deciding whether to self-publish or pursue a traditional publisher for my nonfiction education book. I have my own business and prefer to only use my pen name. What are my options for self-publishing? Amazon Kindle, KDP doesn't allow company or pen names to register as authors. Yeah, so that's a good question. You can write under a pen name as a self-published author. Now, all of your accounts have to be in your own legal name or company name. But the same is true as if you went through a traditional publisher. If you go through a traditional publisher, your contracts are still going to be under your legal name or your company name. They will not be under a made-up pen name. That's not a legal contract. So regardless, the actual registration of your accounts, the contract with your publisher will be in a legal entity, a legal company, or your legal name. That's how it has to be set up. Now, from there, the name that you put on the name that you have forward facing is really up to you. You can have a pen name, whether working with a traditional publisher or if you're on KDP, where it says author name, you're simply going to put your pen name on there. You can give that when you're working under the copyright, you can either assign the copyright to your pen name, you can assign it to your legal name, or you can assign it to your company. Now, I would say that if you have a registered company, I would tend to do the copyright to the company. That way, if you ever need to establish, you don't necessarily have to pull out that pen name, which doesn't have, legal identification and that kind of thing. But you can absolutely publish under your company name. We've talked about publishing imprints and how a publishing imprint is essentially just the name that you decide to publish under. So you can make a DBA or a LLC, you can make it into a business, but you can also just give yourself a forward-facing publishing imprint name, and then you can publish under your own name or a pen name. It's completely up to you. It is a little bit more work. I actually love Amy Collins recently at a writers conference that we were both at in Hampton Roads, Virginia. She recently described a pen name as, having a baby, and you better be able to keep that baby and raise that baby and take care of it for years to come, because a pen name is something that, I mean, you have to have things in place, not only to, if you're really trying to have not an open pen name, if you don't want your name associated, you have to have, social media accounts with that pen name. You have to be managing those. You have to have a website, emails for that pen name. And you really have to have certain things in place to make sure that your name is not closely associated with that pen name, even though they are both you. So it's kind of like having multiple lives and personalities, and that is a big commitment. And if you have a long-term career as an author, just keep in mind that as long as your books are selling, as long as you are still working in publishing in some way, then you are maintaining that pen name. And that can be a really long time. I actually know some authors, I think it's funny, they have pen names for one reason or another. Some of them are open pen names, meaning they had a name that was used for their publishing, but it wasn't really a secret. They weren't trying to hide their identity. They were simply using a pen name because it sounded better or it was easier to pronounce. And now, like, that's how people know them. One that I've actually talked to before, I think we have a video even of Orna Ross, who is the founder of Ally, the Alliance of Independent Authors. Orna Ross is not her legal name. Her last name was harder to pronounce. So her publisher said, hey, we need a pen name. So she took her daughter's name and her son's name, Orna and Ross, and she said, okay, my pen name will be Orna Ross. But she has built onto that for so many years that is how people know her now. She said her kids thought it was pretty cool in the beginning that was her pen name, but as years went on and that's how people knew her, it got to be a little annoying. Uh, but that is a long-term commitment. Orna Ross has been Orna Ross in the public eye for years and probably will for many more years to come. So just keep that in mind, is that if you're going to have a pen name, know it's a commitment, know what you're hoping to get out of it, and also know, um, what are your reasons? Are those reasons going to be open faced? Are they going to be something where you're really trying to, hide? I don't want to say hide, but protect your privacy. And what are you going to do to keep that in place while also marketing your book? Because that does mean a pen name doesn't mean that you don't have to market your book. You still have to do all of those things. You just have to do them under a different identity. And it can be a lot of work switching back and forth. So those are some things to kind of keep in mind. Oh, that's a big question. What do I need to know about AI? I really don't want to add one more thing to do. Can I just leave it alone for a while? Um, yeah, so what do you need to know about AI? Really big question. I would say if I had to recap AI in publishing in 5 minutes or less, I would say know that AI is definitely breaking into the publishing marketplace. It's not going away. It will only become a bigger piece of publishing in the months and years to come. AI is something you could use. You don't have to use, not yet anyway. It's not something that you have to use, but it is an option. Some authors find it very helpful for brainstorming, for outlining. Some authors like to have just something on the page to get started. I think the important thing to know about AI is that it's a tool and it can be used as a tool, but anyone who's really tried to use AI as the end game, hey, I'm just going to have AI write a book. It doesn't turn out well. It's not something that people are generally proud of. It's not something that readers typically like. So I wouldn't be using it as your end game. I think it can be a fantastic tool if you use it with I think it's all about using it with the idea of enhancing your work, not doing the work for you. And I think the other thing to think about AI is that it's just all tied up in courts. It's going to be tied up in courts for years to come. We don't know what those courts will say, what will be legal, what will not be. So you may create things with AI now that have to come down later. We simply don't know, which is why a lot of the big retailers or the smart retailers are tagging things, even if it's just internally. So far, they're tagging them with AI so that if there is a decision that says, hey, everything created with AI and then books or music, whatever it is, has to be tagged as such. You can sell it, no problem, but it has to be tagged. That is why, Amazon now requires that question. Was AI used? They ask if it was used to generate content, if it was used for any of your imagery, your illustration, your cover. They ask if it was used in your translation. So I think it's just important to know it's not going away. We're seeing it come into audiobooks right now is the big thing that we're really seeing, that we are having KDP is beta testing digital narration. Apple's already been in that space and is continuing to use it. Find a Way Voices just announced recently that you can now have some distribution of digital narration audiobooks through Google Play using the Google option for AI audio. So it's not going away. I think how you use it is up to you. I think authors who refuse to use it or refuse to learn about it will be left behind in some ways. We're seeing publishing companies use it in their marketing, whether it be to generate back cover copy or marketing copy, whether it is to create images for ads, or honestly, I mean, using AI to come up with a marketing plan and different things like that. We're seeing that more and more. And again, I think the important thing is to use it as a tool, as a jumping off place. I think if publishers just start to feed AI and say, hey, come up with a marketing plan and execute it, or come up with a marketing plan, we're going to have a lot of stale marketing. We're going to have a lot of stale marketing copy and back covers. It's going to be generic. It's going to be pulled from the same place over and over again without a lot of detail. And I think that that will not, it'll just get boring after a while. We won't be excited about, when you read the description of a book and you're like, oh, this one's going to be good. I got to read this one. I think if we let AI do it all, it's not going to be as exciting in the long term. But I think using as a tool is definitely going to be out there. So as an author, what do you need to know? Simply that it's coming, that it's being used in different areas, and also to watch out for it. Just watch and see where AI is making a place in the publishing industry. I think is what's really important is, keeping up to date with what's changing, what you want to use and implement, and what maybe you're not as comfortable using and implementing right now. I think are the things that I would recommend to all authors, no matter how you feel about AI, because I know we have people who love it and we have people who hate it on this call. I know we do. And that's fine, but I think we still need to be aware of it. And of course, there's so many lawsuits going on right now. I had just read that New York Times is suing Open AI now. There's just a lot of lawsuits, there will be, as there will be again for years, I think. A question in audiobooks was, for my audiobook, should I launch with a discounted price? If you have used, let's say, Find Away Voices, there is an option to where you can have a discounted price for a discounted price for your launch. So if your regular audiobook is $17.99, you can offer it at $4.99 or $2.99 for your launch week or period. The question is whether or not to do that. I think that it can be smart to use a discounted launch price, mostly because you can kind of drive readers who maybe have already read your book. Maybe they've already read the book a long time ago, or maybe they've read it recently. But if they're on, let's say, your mailing list, they probably have already read your work. This is not a new book to them if that's the case. Now, if you're launching your audiobook with everything else, I would not discount it. I'd leave it normal price. But if you're launching your audiobook after the fact, I think that a discounted price can be a great way to encourage your current audience. You've read the book, now hear the voices, hear the characters in action, and driving traffic and sales with a low price, whether it be $1.99, $2.99. I would keep it really low, honestly, to drive your audience to go download, listen, and leave reviews. So whereas with ebooks, let's say on Amazon, you can leave a review on Amazon without having purchased the ebook or the print book on Amazon. But if you are on Audible, you cannot leave an Audible review without having purchased or downloaded the book through Audible. So having a discounted price and driving people to go, download and leave reviews there can be hugely helpful in the overall success of your audiobook. Doing the same thing with different platforms like Barnes and Noble or iBooks can also be smart. So if your audience has probably already read the book and this would be an additional purchase of the same work, I would drive that price really low and then ask and encourage people to go grab it, for less than a cup of coffee, go grab the audiobook and you can listen to it now, and then you can follow up with review requests. If it's launching at the same time as your paperback, your ebook, I would not have that price low. And I would definitely have it $4.99 or lower. You want to make it very accessible if you're going to use that pricing strategy. You may have already answered this, but KDP offers a free AI narration option, but wants a table of contents first. I write fiction and don't use them. I've contacted them and they plan to get back to me. Yes. So the AI narration, if you have not seen it yet, I've seen it in a couple of the accounts that I work with on KDP, where some of the books are being offered to beta test that AI narration. And they do require certain things like a table of contents. And right now, that's the requirement for their criteria. Will that change in the future? I don't know. I think whether I'm beta testing, probably not, unless they get enough requests. I have seen, even if your table of contents is simply chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, where they're taking it, it does not have to be named chapters, but having just the basics. And I don't know if that is for their breakup and ease of production. I'm not really sure, but I have definitely seen that on there. And yeah, I think it's interesting. I haven't personally worked with an author or been in an account yet where someone has used the AI narration through Kindle yet. But I do have authors that I work with who have been given the option of doing it. So I'll be interested to see if they take it up on it. But it was cool to see in the account. I want to see if I can pull it up. But the questions that they asked in this author in particular, they have 4 books out and only one of them was eligible for the beta testing of KDP's AI narration. The other three were not, for different reasons, like a table of contents. It's very interesting to see how that, how that plays out and how it works. I'll keep you updated as I see it, as I get into accounts and if I know anyone using it. If you're on this call and you're using the KDP AI for audiobooks, let me know. I'd love to pick your brain and ask questions. Oops. I'm trying to go back to my questions screen and I moved over. Um, Things that I am seeing just people asking as we head into the new year is what worked really well in 2023 and what do I think will continue to work in 2024. Some of the best marketing and promotion that I saw or used in 2023 still includes ebook promotions and discounts. So either doing a discounted ebook at 99 cents, $1.99, or having a free book through Kindle Unlimited where they allow you to do 5 free Kindle days. Having those promotions is still one of the best things I've seen. BookBub still a leader for featured deals, not ads, but featured deals. BookBub is still a leader for reaching many, many readers at one time with a discount book. I will say that any promotions that I've seen where the ebook was discounted at higher than $1.99, so $2.99, $3.99, I'm not seeing much success at all. I think that for discounted books, even from bigger name authors and publishers, $1.99 or lower seems to be the sweet spot for really getting action to actually get people to download and to get to that discount crowd. Now, while BookBub is still the leader, there are a couple of companies that are making a play for really getting into the space. We're seeing Bargain Booksy, Written Word Media, who owns both Free Booksy and Bargain Booksy, is really beefing up their list. They're doing quite a few promo stacks with different companies. So now through Written Word Media, you can stack with the Fussy Librarian, Hello Books, and a couple of others. So I'm seeing that happen, and I'm seeing a lot of great downloads and success with that. They reach a lot of readership, which is fantastic. So discount ebook promotions is still one of the best ways that I've seen over the last year to drive readers to a book, a series. Now, it is a loss leader, though. I think that's something to consider, that very rarely when running a discount promo are people breaking even on that specific promo. Meaning, if I discount a book to 99 cents and I am then putting $300 into advertising and spending it on that one book, breaking even is hard because a 99-cent book, if you're on Amazon, for example, then you're getting 35% royalty because it's under $2.99, which means you're only earning $3.50. I'm sorry, you're only earning 35 cents per book sold. So if you then put in, let's just say $350 in advertising, you've got to sell, a lot of books in order to make that up if you're getting 35 cents per book. So that not necessarily breaking even, but if you are discounting your first book in a series to 99 cents and you're promoting it at $300, $350, and then they are buying book 2 and book 3 at full price, which is $4.99 or $3.99, and you're making profits on that, and they're reading through a series, absolutely, not only are people breaking even, they're making a profit. Meanwhile, they're gathering new readers, new reviews, they're upping those algorithms on Amazon and other sales sites. So I've seen that work really, really well. And Larry, to my knowledge, Fussy Librarian is not part of or owned by Written Word Media. However, they are partnering with them for stack promotions where you can go into Written Word Media, create an account, and you can purchase a Written Word Media and a Fussy Librarian discount promo all in one spot with one click, one checkout, one button. So to my knowledge, they're not the same company, but they are partnering together. So I'm definitely seeing discount promotions continue to be one of the best marketing tools. Even giving a book away for free. Well, obviously, you're not typically making money back when you're discounting for free. It can again pull in for a series where you can make money on the other books in the series. And I've even done free promotions for standalone books where it got a lot of Kindle Unlimited page reads for those in Kindle Unlimited. And I've also seen where the reviews and the traction in the algorithm from that free promo actually jump started a book to sell long term. So I still will say discount promos are really hitting it. One thing I have seen fall off in 2023, and I don't think that we're going to see a big comeback, is pre-order periods. Pre-orders were hugely popular for a long time, building up that anticipation of a book. It's how a lot of books hit bestsellers lists like USA Today. And while there will still be pre-orders for a number of reasons on books, I'm seeing pre-order numbers, even for big name authors, go down. People either want to buy something that they can get immediately, or if they're pre-ordering it much closer to the launch date. So, for example, the books that I've seen go up on pre-order, even those from big names, I'm talking big numbers, big names, I have seen where those pre-order numbers will trickle in throughout the period of pre-order, but most of those pre-orders are coming in 2 weeks prior to the launch or later. We're not seeing a bunch of pre-orders come in, months in advance or even a month in advance. We're seeing them 2 weeks, maybe 1 week in advance, or people just coming back and ordering on launch day. And I think that is partially due to the way people are spending money. Do I want to pre-order and spend this money now? Do I want to pre-order something now knowing that the money won't come out of my account until the book launches? Will I have that money in my account a week from now, a month from now? Will it surprise me? Will it put me in the negative? That kind of thing. So I think that's part of it, is how the process works, is that sometimes you're not actually paying until later, and people are cautious of that, having money come out of their account at a later date when they might forget, or maybe they don't have the money then and they have it now. I'm also seeing pre-orders, just people, we're so spoiled in this Amazon economy of, I ordered it today, I want it tomorrow. I don't want to order it today and get it a month from now. It's not even worth it right now. I'll come back for it. So pre-orders, they're not going away. And again, having a pre-order up makes a lot of sense for different marketing, for promotions, for pitching to traditional book reviewers like Kirkus and Publishers Weekly and all of that kind of thing. So there's a lot of reasons for it, but I don't think it's necessarily driving sales, especially for print books. Ebooks, I'm kind of seeing the same thing, unless there's an additional incentive, pre-order, send me your receipt and I will send you XYZ. Those are still kind of working, but as far as just general pre-orders, they're going down in my experience and in my opinion. Things that continue to work, Facebook ads, even though there's been a lot of new social media, TikTok, Threads, Twitter, X, whatever it is kind of fallen out. Even though there is new advertising opportunities, even though there are new social media outlets, Facebook ads for authors still seem to be one of the best ways to reach readers. Now, I do think that a lot of readership, regardless of the book, I think a lot of the readership or the people buying the book tend to be a little bit older. They tend to be 40 and upwards. And I think that's why a lot of Facebook ads do work, is because that's the demographic on Facebook. But as I said, a lot of reader groups also are on Facebook. Facebook is one of the easiest ways to connect and have groups and have feedback and reviews of books for Facebook groups and things like that. And the author groups are on here as well, but mostly reader groups, I think. So Facebook is still one of the best places for ads. However, with that said, for interaction, I'm seeing a lot more author interaction on Instagram and of course on TikTok. Instagram doesn't take a ton of time. You can just do photos. You don't have to do videos, although videos definitely get more attention. But TikTok, it works for some genres, not all genres. It works for romance. It works for fantasy. It can work for sci-fi. It's not necessarily working for things like cozy mysteries, thrillers, give or take. Nonfiction, it can work well if the author has taken the time to create a platform, if they've taken the time to kind of build their name on TikTok with advice and things like that, and then they release a nonfiction book. We're seeing that work very well. But it does take time. I have authors say, TikTok works, it's helping me sell my books, but I spend so much time on it that I'm not writing, and that's an issue. So I think it's something that has to be balanced, because TikTok is also driven not only by people watching your videos, but the content you interact with and you watching videos as well. So it can be a time suck. You have to be very careful on there. Instagram is just a spot where a lot of readers, especially younger readers, are hanging out. The visuals, I think, get people in, and so seeing a lot of interaction over there. Another thing that I've seen work really well in 2023 is reader magnets. I don't think reader magnets are going away, but reader magnets where you offer something special or exclusive or free to your readership to get them onto your newsletter list. And I will say something I've seen trending last year and this year, and also not going away, is building your readership that you own through an email list, a website, whatever it is, but not trusting those social media sites to hold your audience. Build your email list so you can contact your reader. I have seen big names lose their accounts this year. Actually, it happened to not their account, but a group, Frida McFadden, who is, I think she's got 2 books on the New York Times bestseller right now. Huge audience. She spends a lot of time on Facebook interacting and posting, and she lost her reader group this year, and she had to rebuild it, and she didn't have a ton of email addresses. And so that's something I've seen her start to do is, hey, this is great, we still want to interact here, I'm not going to email you all the time, but if we could just be friends on email, that way I can contact you if anything happens, that would be great. So I do think that's something worth building, and one of the best ways to do that is to offer something free, whether it be a short story lead in to a series or a whole book. I have some authors who are like, I have this old book, it's not my bestseller, I'm just gonna offer the whole thing for free. But continue to build those emails lists, continue to own your own audience. And I think that does build into authors who are deciding to sell direct, which was starting to become a big deal this year and will be definitely a trend in 2024, is selling direct. And whether you choose to sell direct or not, I won't get into the details of selling direct because we did talk about that a week or 2 ago. But if you ever decide to go direct, having those email addresses is going to make your life so much easier. It's going to be the platform starter you need to sell direct. And so I think it ties into that as well. And that's why so many people have been list building as well. Let's see. So discount the first ebook in series, maybe Facebook ads for the second novel in series, and then pre-order for the third. Yeah, so not exactly, Caroline. I would say most of the time when doing a ebook promotion or a discount ebook, I would say first book in series or a standalone that will draw into your other book. So it needs to speak to your genre that you write in if you have standalones. Really strong tie-in, I think, is important, that it's, this is what you're known for, is thrillers or what have you, for that discount ebook promo. And I will also say almost every ad I run, if it's for a series, whether it be Facebook ads, Amazon ads, almost every ad I run is for the first book in series. They're the most successful. They bring people in. When running ads for other books in the series, almost always I see sometimes a increase of sales for book 1, but most people don't start, 2, 3 books in a series. They want to start at the beginning. So I think that's one of those things. However, running pre-orders as you get down the line, as you build an audience, having pre-orders makes more sense. It'll give you a strong launch, and also you have an audience ready and waiting for your book to launch to. So pre-order once you've established your audience, once you've, this is the last book in a series, or with incentives, things like that. That makes more sense. Can you recommend a platform for email management? Margie, there are a bunch of them. Constant Contact is a popular one. I personally still use MailChimp, which was like MailChimp was the email management platform a couple of years ago. And then they started upping their prices and they weren't popular. So people moved over to different options. And then all of those other platforms started upping their prices. So I think it's about even now, but Constant Contact and MailChimp, I would say, are still probably two of the top options. What I would be looking at if I was looking from fresh, if I was looking for a email management system, I would be looking at what is their free option, because most of them do start with a free option. What is it? What does it offer? Does it limit how many people you can have on your mailing list? At what point do you start getting charged for the number of people on your mailing list? Does it limit your templates? Does it limit how many emails you can send in a month? Because some of them do. They'll say, oh, you can have as many contacts as you want, but you can only send 500 emails. And they don't mean 500 campaigns where you're sending them to everyone. They mean 500 emails. So if you have 500 people on your list and you send one email, you have then reached your quota. So look at the numbers, look at your needs, and then also look at, does it integrate with the things you use? If you're using BookFunnel and you'd like it to integrate to collect email addresses, does it integrate? If you are using different sales platforms or things like that, does it integrate? If you have a website, is it easy to collect and integrate? That will make your life easier in the long run. So I'd be looking at that, but also ease of use. I mean, it's okay to sign up for free accounts at 3 different places. Try, don't send emails from all of them, but try it out. Start building campaigns, see which one is most user-friendly to you. I really do believe that sometimes it's not that one platform is necessarily better than the other, so much that certain brains are like, oh, this is easy for me. It's compatible with my brain. Whereas a different platform might work better for my brain. So if they have free options, don't be afraid to sign up for a couple of them and kind of go take them for a spin and see which one you prefer. And then again, looking at the numbers for when you have to start paying, looking at the upgrades and how much it's going to cost you and all that good kind of stuff is what I'd check out. With Christmas right behind us, the season when so many books are purchased, is it a good idea to hit the pause button on spending money in Facebook advertising if you have a limited PR budget? If so, is there a good month or week to start back up with advertising? Beth, I think that is a really good question. As far as pausing spend, David hit on it before I could get there. A lot of people have gift cards. So gift cards are king now. I didn't know what book to get you. So I just, here's a Barnes and Noble gift card, or I just got a brand new Kindle and I need to find books to put in it. So people are still buying. So I would say right here, the week actually between Christmas and New Year's can be very lucrative for some authors. I would also say going into January, we're going into the deep winter months where a lot of people are at home more, they will be reading. So depending on your book genre, I think it can be a great time. Let's remember that if you're a romance author, we're coming up on Valentine's Day and people will definitely start doing that, reading more romance. If you are a children's book author, I will say it may be a slow time for you because children are not so much getting gift cards. Children got their gifts bought for them and they are done. And it may be a slow time as kids are in school, they're a little bit busier. So that may be a slower time. But I will say next to Christmas, believe it or not, Easter is one of the biggest sales seasons for children's books. So having those ads back up, not at Easter, but prior to Easter, you know, the February, March timeframe is when I would definitely have those ads running. January is a big month for nonfiction. It's not the only month for nonfiction, but it's a big month, you know? So when people have all these great lofty goals and resolutions, I'm going to be on budget this year. I'm going to exercise and meditate, and I'm going to do this and that. And so they're looking for a guide to help them reach those goals and resolutions. So nonfiction can be very big in January. Nonfiction also tends, in my opinion, to pick up around March and April too. I'm not sure if it's as people like start to be closer to graduation or prepping for summer and different things like that, but it depends on the genre and the book, of course. But nonfiction can be hot, hot, hot right now. So I wouldn't say pause them. You may bring your spend down. Now, this is something I've said a lot for a long time. Many people think that to run ads, they have to be spending $20 a day, and that's just not the case. Now, will you reach more people at $20 a day? Absolutely. But can you run successful Facebook ads at $2 a day? Yep, you sure can. Richard, who's on the call, does it. He's got several ads at $2 a day that pay for themselves. And so is he necessarily earning top profit on them? I mean, I think it depends. Anyone, it depends. But are they keeping the book being sold? Are they keeping those reviews coming in? And are they effective? Yeah, they can be at $2 a day, at $1 a day. So I would look at dropping budgets rather than dropping ads. Now, of course, if you have an ad that's got a big Christmas present on it and says, you know, the perfect gift for mom, wrap it and put it under the tree, probably not the time for that ad. But I do think that some evergreen ads that just kind of market your book or say, you know, ready to cozy up on a cold winter night and read a good mystery, here you go. So I think they should be running pretty much all the time as long as you can find that budget. And if we look at $2 a day, I know everyone has different budgets and different spending opportunities. And also, some people simply cannot afford it. And if that's you, I'm not advising that you go into debt to run ads. But if you have a budget, but it's small, $2 a day on Facebook, that's $60 a month. Even I can do that math. That's $60 a month on Facebook. And if you are getting conversions, if you are getting people over and buying the book. Now, if you are running ads at any dollar amount, $2 a day, $20 a day, if you're running ads and you're not seeing conversion, I think either your ads or possibly your Amazon sales page needs some work because something's not converting. That's a whole different thing. But as far as if you are running ads and they are converting and you're getting sales and those ads are even just paying for themselves, I think there is value to keeping those running at a low budget. As I mentioned, having those algorithms have sales and reviews and things is very important. I think having consistent sales is important. It's easier to ramp things up from low rather than to start over. It's kind of like if you go to get in your car and you were driving an hour ago and well, maybe not an hour ago. I guess it depends on where you're at. Let's say 10 minutes ago. If I was in the car 10 minutes ago and I had the heat running and I just had it all warmed up and then I come back out 10 minutes later, it may be chilly already, but it's going to heat up a lot quicker because that car is already heated up. The air in the car is warmer. And so it's going to be easier to ramp back up. Whereas if I'm coming in cold, it's going to take a little while. And so I would much rather see something lowered but kept at a level that you can maintain rather than just completely shut off. Because when you completely shut off, it is and can be a bit like starting from scratch. And that can be hard to come back from. It can actually cost you more in the long term and it can take more time. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Good question, though. Yeah, you bet. All right, everybody. Well, I think we're pretty darn close to 11 o'clock. So unless we have any new questions, I think we're good for today. Thank you for joining me. I know it's a holiday week. And so a lot of people have taken off. New Shelves has been off. It's been fantastic. And it was great seeing you, though. We'll be back next Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So if you have questions and you would like them answered next week, maybe you're off this week, which is why you could join us, but you're not usually here, feel free to just email those in, info@newshelves.com. I save those up for Fridays and then we answer them live, and you can watch the replays on YouTube, which is simply youtube.com/New Shelves Books. And if you can join us live, we'd love to have you back with your questions. I'm excited for 2024. I hope you are all setting your goals, looking back on what worked well for you in 2023, and looking ahead to new ideas and new plans in 2024. I think it's a great time to reset and set those goals so that you have something to reach for. I love to do it, and I hope you do too. And I will see you all next year. Have a safe and happy New Year's, and I'll see you then. Bye, everybody.